Anderson Cooper did not become one of the most trusted faces in American journalism by accident. His calm voice during moments of chaos, his refusal to sensationalize pain, and his insistence on witnessing events firsthand have made him a fixture in global news. But behind the composed anchor desk presence lies a life shaped by loss, legacy, and deliberate rejection of the privileges he was born into. To understand Anderson Cooper's influence, one must begin with the contradiction at the center of his life, a man born into extraordinary wealth who chose to earn credibility the hardest way possible. Early life, legacy, loss, and identity. Anderson Hayes Cooper was born on June 3, 1967, in New York City, into one of America's most famous families. His mother, Gloria Vanderbilt, was a fashion icon, heiress, and artist. His father, Wyatt Emery Cooper, was a writer and screenwriter. Through his mother, Anderson was connected to the Vanderbilt dynasty, one of the wealthiest families in American history. Yet wealth did not translate into emotional security. When Anderson was 10 years old, his father died unexpectedly during heart surgery. The loss left a permanent mark. A decade later, tragedy struck again when Anderson's older brother, Carter Vanderbilt Cooper, died by suicide in 1988. Anderson was just 21. These events shaped his worldview profoundly. In later interviews, Cooper would describe grief as something that never disappears, only changes shape. That understanding would later inform his journalistic empathy, especially in moments of disaster, war, and human suffering. Despite his family's fame, Cooper was raised to be intellectually curious rather than socially insulated. He attended the Dalton School, an elite private institution in Manhattan, before enrolling at Yale University, where he studied political science. At Yale, he wrote for the student newspaper and showed early signs of an interest in global affairs rather than celebrity culture, rejecting privilege, choosing the hard way. After graduating from Yale in 1989, Anderson Cooper made a choice that surprised many. He did not leverage his name to land a high-profile media job. Instead, he went abroad. With no formal journalism job and little institutional support, Cooper traveled through Africa and Southeast Asia, often carrying a video camera himself. He reported from conflict zones, documenting violence and humanitarian crises while selling footage to news outlets as a freelance journalist. At one point, he famously forged a press pass to gain access to war zones, not out of recklessness, but out of desperation to report stories firsthand. The experience taught him two lessons that would define his career: credibility must be earned, and proximity to events matters. This period forged Cooper's reputation as a journalist willing to be present, not protected. Rising through the ranks, ABC News and CNN. Cooper's persistence paid off in the mid-1990s when he joined ABC News, eventually becoming a correspondent for programs like World News Tonight and 2020. His reporting stood out not for theatrical delivery, but for clarity and restraint. In 2001, Cooper joined CNN, where his career would fully take shape. The turning point came during Hurricane Katrina in 2005. While many reporters maintained distance, Cooper visibly reacted to the government's failures, questioning officials in real time and giving voice to stranded victims. His emotional transparency, unusual for cable news at the time, resonated deeply with viewers. It marked a shift in American television journalism. Empathy no longer undermined credibility, it enhanced it. Shortly thereafter, Anderson Cooper 360° became a permanent fixture on CNN, airing 5 nights a week and positioning Cooper as one of the network's most important anchors. Style and influence, a different kind of power. Unlike many cable news personalities, Cooper never built his brand on ideological combat. His influence came from something rarer in modern media: trust. He avoided predictable partisan alignment, focusing instead on accountability, fact-based reporting, and human impact. This neutrality made him a unique figure in a polarized media landscape. Critics occasionally accused him of being too emotional or too restrained, but for millions of viewers, that balance became his signature strength. Cooper also became CNN's go-to anchor during breaking global crises, from natural disasters and mass shootings to wars and pandemics. His reporting from the ground, often in dangerous conditions, reinforced his credibility as more than a studio anchor. Personal life, visibility without spectacle. For many years, Anderson Cooper kept his personal life private. In 2012, he publicly acknowledged that he is gay, doing so not through an interview or press conference, but in a carefully written statement that emphasized authenticity over activism. In 2020, Cooper became a father to Wyatt Morgan Cooper, born via surrogacy and named after his late father. He later welcomed a second son, Sebastian Luke Cooper, expanding his family while remaining largely private about parenting details. Motherhood and fatherhood deepened Cooper's reflections on legacy, responsibility, and the passage of time, topics he increasingly addressed in interviews and special broadcasts. Writing, documentary work, and broader impact. Beyond television, Cooper has contributed significantly to long-form journalism. He co-authored memoirs with his mother, including The Rainbow Comes and Goes, a deeply personal exploration of family, aging, and unresolved grief. He has also hosted documentary series and historical investigations, blending personal curiosity with journalistic discipline. Unlike many media figures who expand into political advocacy, Cooper largely resisted becoming a public activist. His authority remained grounded in observation rather than persuasion, criticism, and challenges. No influential journalist escapes criticism. Some have accused Cooper of emotional bias during crisis coverage. Others argue that his family background complicates his image as a neutral observer. Still, even critics often acknowledge that Cooper does not weaponize his platform for personal gain. In an era where outrage is profitable, Cooper's restraint sometimes works against him algorithmically, but it reinforces long-term credibility, net worth, and financial independence. As of 2026, Anderson Cooper's estimated net worth is widely reported to be around $50 million, though he has consistently stated that he did not inherit the majority of the Vanderbilt fortune. In fact, his mother famously left most of her estate to charities, reinforcing the narrative that Cooper built his own career and financial independence. His income comes primarily from CNN salary, books, documentaries, and special reporting projects. Legacy, trust as currency. Anderson Cooper's legacy is not defined by breaking the loudest stories, but by how he told them. He demonstrated that journalists can show emotion without losing authority. Credibility can coexist with compassion, and power in media does not always require confrontation. In a media environment driven by speed, polarization, and spectacle, Cooper represents an older, but still vital, model of influence. One built on patience, presence, and trust. Power, in his case, was not inherited. It was earned, one story at a time.